Hello students, welcome to your social studies class. Today, let's start with a new chapter of geography, that is chapter 16, latitudes and longitudes. Nowadays, whenever we want to visit a new place, what do we do first? Well, we enter the address of that place in Google Maps. And as soon as we enter that address in Google Maps, Google gives us all possible information of that particular place, like where it is located, which are the nearest landmarks, how to reach there, and so on. Now, how do you think Google Map does that? That you just enter some details about a place and you get all possible information about that place, that which road to take, which turn to take, etc. Well, that's because Google has some numbers stored inside it for every place. Just as we all have a specific house number, road number, so whenever you mark a place on Google Map, what happens is it pulls out unique numbers of that particular place. Now, what are these numbers? These are latitudes and longitudes. Now, what are these latitudes and longitudes? These are very unique numbers which are stored for every places on earth. And because of these latitudes and longitudes, Google Map is able to pull out exact location of a place. So students, in today's class, let's see what these latitudes and longitudes are in detail. Now, before we start with the chapter, let's recall few of the characteristics of globe which we have already done in our previous chapter. Students, let's take this ball as an example of globe. And as you can see, just like this ball, our earth is spherical in shape. It has a bulge at the center and it is slightly flattened from the top and the bottom.
That the earth is spherical in shape but flat at the poles and bulging at the center. In the ancient days, it was believed that the earth was flat. It was around the 15th century that Christopher Columbus and Ferdinand Magellan undertook many voyages to prove that the earth was round. People came to know that the earth was not flat but spherical. When we observe a ship sailing out to the horizon from the beach, we see the hull disappears first, followed by the mast. This proves that the ship is going round rather than falling off a cliff. Globe is a model that represents the earth and is spherical in shape. The word globe is derived from the Latin word globus, which means a round mass or a sphere. A globe facilitates the study of the earth. It also helps to locate places on the earth.
The imaginary line on which the earth rotates or spins is called its axis. It passes through the center of the earth, and the two ends of the axis are known as the poles. The pole towards the north is called as North Pole, and the pole towards the south is called as South Pole. These two poles are fixed points of reference on Earth's surface, and all other lines are drawn with respect to these points. The imaginary line between the two poles, dividing the earth into two equal halves, is called as equator. The northern half is called as the northern hemisphere and the southern half is called as southern hemisphere. Most of the land is in the northern hemisphere, while southern hemisphere is almost covered by oceans. Hence, northern hemisphere is also called as land hemisphere, whereas southern hemisphere is also called as water hemisphere.
The Earth's axis is an imaginary line which passes through the center of the Earth, joining the north and south poles. In the picture, the Earth's axis is represented by a dotted line. The Earth moves around the axis, which makes it possible for all parts of the Earth to receive sunlight. This movement is known as rotation. The arrows represent the direction of the rotation of the Earth around the axis. North Pole. It is the northernmost point on the Earth. South Pole. It is the southernmost point on the Earth. The equator is an imaginary line that divides the Earth horizontally in two equal parts. It is halfway between the North Pole and the South Pole. The two equal parts are called the hemispheres. Hemi means half, sphere means round. The upper half is referred to as the North Hemisphere and the lower half is referred to as the South Hemisphere.
So students, let's discuss latitudes in detail. Latitudes are imaginary lines that run horizontally in west to east direction. The equator is at the center as well as the longest latitude. It divides the whole earth into two equal halves, to the north and to the south. Each half is called as hemisphere, the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. The equator is regarded as the 0-degree latitude and thus a reference point. All the latitudes are measured as angles from the center of the earth, north and south of the equator. There are 90 degrees of latitude to the north of the equator and 90 degrees of latitude to the south. These imaginary lines are circles round the earth and are also called as parallels of latitude because they run parallel to each other. The latitudes get shorter as we move upwards and downwards, that is towards the poles, with the greatest circle being the equator. At the poles, they become points. The latitudes to the north of the equator are denoted by the letter N, while those south of the equator are denoted by the letter S.
The east-west lines are known as parallels of latitude. So, what are latitudes? Latitude is an angular distance of a place north or south of the equator. Supposing I say Mumbai is 19 degrees north. This means Mumbai is 19 degrees north of the equator. Now, if a line were to be drawn from Mumbai on the globe to the center of the globe, then the line would make an angle of 19 degrees with the horizontal. Another angle of 19 degrees can be measured south of equator. So there are two 19 degrees, one in the north and other one in the south. So it must be clearly mentioned when I say 19 degrees, Mumbai is at 19 degrees north. The line of latitude is then drawn through Mumbai parallel to the equator. This parallel of latitude is 19 degree north latitude. Any place or point on this parallel of latitude would form an angle of 19 degree at the center. Every parallel of latitude is a circle. So there are 90 parallels of latitude in the northern hemisphere to the north of the equator. Similarly, there are 90 parallels of latitude in the southern hemisphere to the south of the equator. Now, all the lines of latitude are not drawn on a globe for practical reasons. Because if I draw all the lines, the map would appear very crowded. So what are the points to be noted? First thing is, a latitude is an angular distance of a place north or south of the equator. There are 180 parallels of latitude. Each parallel of latitude is a circle. All the parallels of latitude are not of equal length. The circles become smaller as we move towards the pole. The equator, that is at 0 degrees, is the most important latitude and the largest circle that can be drawn on the globe. It divides the earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Now the distance between any two parallels of latitude is always 111 kilometers. The North Pole and the South Pole are fixed points and serve as basic points of reference.
So students, let's revise the features of latitudes. All latitudes are at same distance from each other. The equator is the longest of all the latitudes. The latitudes become shorter as the distance from the equator increases. The equator is called as the great circle, while other latitudes are called as small circles. Latitude is the angular distance between the equator and any point on the Earth's surface. The vertex of angle is at the center of the Earth. Latitude is measured in degrees. 1 degree is equal to 60 minutes, while 1 minute is equal to 60 seconds. Each parallel is at distance of 1 degree, which is approximately 111 kilometers apart. Some latitudes are used as reference points in geography. There are 180 latitudes in total, 90 above the equator and 90 below the equator. Equator is at 0 degree. It divides the whole Earth into two equal parts. North Pole is at 90 degree north. It is at the northern end of the Earth's axis. South Pole is at 90 degrees south. It is the southernmost end of the Earth's axis. Tropic of Cancer is at 23.5 degree north. It is the northernmost position where the sun rays appear directly overhead. Tropic of Capricorn is at 23.5 degrees south. It is the southernmost position where the sun rays appear directly overhead. Arctic Circle is at 66.5 degree north. It marks the northern limit beyond which the Earth can either be sunlit or sunless for more than 24 hours. Antarctic Circle is at 66 degree and a half south. It marks the southern limit beyond which the Earth can either be sunlit or sunless for more than 24 hours.
The northern and southern hemispheres are divided by the equator. The latitudes are parallel to the equator, which is the longest latitude. Let me tell you an interesting thing. The east-west lines get shorter as we move away from the equator towards the poles. Each latitude is separated by 1 degree. 1 degree has 60 minutes. equator is at 0 degree. The Tropic of Cancer is at 23.5 degree north and the Tropic of Capricorn is at 23.5 degree south. This region has a hot and humid temperature. Most of the biodiversity live in this region. At 66.5 degree north is the Arctic Circle and 66.5 degrees south is the Antarctic Circle. These regions are very cold.
Heat zones of the earth. Different parts of the earth receive different amount of heat from the sun. On the basis of the amount of heat received, the earth is divided into 3 time zones. The first is torrid zone. All places located between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn fall under torrid zone. The rays of sun fall vertically on these places. The region at least once a year receives maximum amount of heat. That is the reason it is known as torrid zone. The word torrid means hot. The second is temperate zone. The temperate zone falls outside the area of torrid zone. The region experiences slanting rays of the sun and receives less amount of heat. In the northern hemisphere, the areas between the Tropic of Cancer and the Arctic Circle is known as the North Temperate Zone, whereas in the south, in the southern hemisphere, the areas between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Antarctic Circle is known as the South Temperate Zone. Now third is Frigid Zone. This region lies beyond the Arctic Circle in the north and Antarctic Circle in the south. This region is very cold as this receives extreme slanting rays of the sun. The North Frigid Zone lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole, whereas in the southern hemisphere, the area is between the South Pole and the Antarctic Circle.
What is the importance of latitudes? Latitudes are related to the temperature on the surface of the Earth. Planet Earth is spherical in shape. So different part of the earth receives different amount of sunlight. Based on that, 3 important heat zones of the earth are formed. They are torrid zone, temperate zone and frigid zone. The torrid zone or the tropical zone lies between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Tropic of Cancer is at 23.5 degrees north and Tropic of Capricorn is at 23.5 degrees south. Now, what is the importance of this torrid zone? Torrid zone receives nearly vertical rays of the sun throughout the year, and it receives vertical rays of the sun 2 times in a year. We will understand this better when we learn about revolution of the earth. Similarly, the next one is the temperate zone. The temperate zone lies between Tropic of Cancer and Arctic Circle in the north and Tropic of Capricorn and Antarctic Circle in the south. These regions receive slanting rays of the sun, so they never receive vertical rays of the sun. Next one is the frigid zone. Frigid zone in the northern hemisphere lies beyond the Arctic Circle, and in the southern hemisphere it lies beyond the Antarctic Circle. The rays of the sun in these regions are slanting, so it is very cold throughout the year. Now in the tropical regions, summers are very hot and winters are mild. Similarly, in the temperate regions, like in India, Delhi lies in the temperate region. So in the temperate regions, summer as well as winter both are extreme. And in the frigid zone, throughout the year, it is very cold.
Students, that's all for the day. We'll discuss the remaining portion of the chapter in our next